on buying goods and services with Chapter 24, Protecting Consumers. Our first section, 24.1, is on consumer organizations and agencies. Our objectives are to explain the steps consumers can take to find solutions to consumer problems, list non-governmental consumer organizations that advocate for consumers, and list some federal and state agencies that provide consumer information and protection. Remember that this is from the perspective of the United States, so many of the governmental agencies, of course, are going to be in the United States. So at some point in life, you're going to have trouble with a product or service that you purchase. So there are some things you can do to resolve the matter yourself. When faced with a purchasing problem, review your receipts and warranties. Contact the seller and explain the problem. Bring your receipts, bring your warranties. If the seller doesn't resolve it, take it to a higher level. Contact the customer service department of the seller's company. And then if not, contact its headquarters. If that doesn't work, then consumer organizations may be able to help. And if you don't get the results you want, and last result, take it to small claims court. You have the right, if you feel that you are warranted a solution, you have the right to take it as high as you want. There are many organizations that work on behalf of consumers. Groups and individuals who work to protect, inform, and defend consumers are called consumer advocates. An advocate is somebody who works on behalf of somebody else. Many consumer advocates are private non-profit groups. Non-profit meaning they aren't in it to make money. Some of these groups test products and report their findings, and many work to promote consumer protection laws. So we have the Consumer Federation of America. The CFA works to inform the public and government about consumer issues. It works with public officials to promote policies that benefit consumers and to ensure a fair and balanced debate about issues that are important to consumers. It studies federal laws that affect consumers and lets its members know so that they can help support legislation to help the public. Then we have the National Consumers League. This is the nation's oldest nonprofit consumers group with membership open to anyone. It provides government agencies, businesses, and other organizations with the consumer's point of view. One of its services is a National Fraud Information Center. It also monitors the internet to alert consumers to fraud. Then we have the Consumers Unit, a nonprofit organization that publishes the magazine Consumer Reports. Researchers with Consumers Union test products and report their findings in the magazine. The magazine does not advertise products or allow its findings to be used in ads. Consumers Union also testifies before government agencies on consumer concerns. Remember back in chapter 23, one of your responsibilities is to do research about a product, and Consumer Reports is one of the best ways to do that. Then we have the Major Appliance Consumer Program. So some industries have consumer assistance panels, and so MACAP, M-A-C-A-P, helps consumers resolve problems with large appliances such as washers, stoves, and freezers. Most major appliance dealers are members of MACAP, MACAP. And then finally we have the media. Internet sites, radio, TV stations, and newspapers advocate for consumers. They often have a consumer reporter who reports on issues that are important to consumers, such as product safety, testing, and shopping. The reporter might feature one consumer's problem with a local business and visit the business to try to resolve the problem. This reminds me of when I was growing up and I would watch Friday night news, late night news. It came on at 10 p.m. and about halfway through the program, it was always a 30-hour news program, you would have this one reporter. His name was Marvin Zindler, and it was an ABC 13 in Houston, Texas. And he would do this report on local restaurants and if they had failed health inspections. And so he would report what the failures were, whether it was mice or roaches being found in the kitchen or anything like that. And he was very, very well known for this report because he had a catchphrase. For some reason, if there was ever found any sort of slime in the ice machine, the way he said slime in the ice machine was so well known in Houston that people would watch this report about failing restaurants, which doesn't really interest anybody other than you don't want to go there because you don't want to get sick. But it was very entertaining. So sometimes these consumer reporters are out there to help the customer, but they're also out there to help make a name for themselves too. Okay, moving on. Now we have the government consumer organizations. So in the United States, each state has a consumer affairs division. In some states, the Attorney General's office handles consumer affairs. So many state and federal agencies have been set up to protect consumers. They publish materials to help consumers with their buying decisions and problems. They also enforce laws. The Federal Citizen Information Center is a good source for federal information. So we have the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, that enforces federal antitrust and consumer protection laws by investigating complaints against companies. It seeks to ensure that the nation's markets function competitively by eliminating unfair or deceptive practices. Then we have the United States Department of Agriculture, the USDA. They inspect food and grade them. Grade labels indicate the level of quality of foods. For example, meat might be graded as prime or choice. Consumers can use the grades as a guide in choosing what to buy. The Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, regulates the labeling and safety of food, drugs, cosmetics, dietary supplements, and medical devices sold in the United States. The FDA tests and approves all drugs before they can be offered to consumers, and also reviews products that are already on the market. So they might be approved, but then some reason lose their approval. And just as a reminder, vocabulary-wise, when we're saying drug in this context, is talking about medicine, like Tylenol and any sort of like medicine prescribed to you by a doctor or something you can buy over the counter. We're not talking about illegal narcotics. Okay, next we have the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is part of the United States Department of Transportation. This agency sets and enforces safety standards for motor vehicles. The administration can require an automaker to issue a recall of the automaker's vehicles. A recall is an order to take back and repair or replace a product that has defective parts. And anybody can be issued a recall. It doesn't have to be just for cars, but you most often hear it with cars. Then we have the Consumer Product Safety Commission, which is a federal government agency that oversees the safety of products such as toys, cribs, power tools, electronics, and furniture. The commission has contributed significantly to a 30% decline in the rate of deaths and injuries associated with consumer products over the last 30 years. That's fantastic. Then we have state public utilities commissions, and they regulate the rates charged by electric, gas, and water companies. And in some areas, they also help regulate local telephone services. They protect consumers from unfair pricing, and they do this because public utilities are legal monopolies, which means that they are allowed to operate without competition. So they have to have somebody in there to help regulate them and not let them run amok. Then we have state insurance commissions, and these are the state governmental bodies responsible for regulating the activities of insurers and health plans. They control and approve insurance rates, and most have procedures to help handle consumer complaints. And then last, we have state licensing agencies. And what they do is they issue licenses, which are legal permits to conduct businesses. And a license helps provide assurance that the holder is qualified to do a particular service. So you're required to have a license if you are a doctor, a teacher, a roofer, a hairstylist, any sort of esthetician, so your nail person, a massage therapist, anybody like that, architects, and even professional wrestlers are required to have a license. So there's always some sort of testing. Every career I've had, well, I've only had two. I was in finance and then I became a teacher. Both careers were required to have state licensing in order to be able to do my job. All right, let's move on to 24.2, consumer protection laws. And our objectives for this particular section are to describe ways that consumers are protected by laws related to the marketplace and list ways that the business community assists with consumer protection. All right, a lot of information on this page. Sorry that it's so small. So the US government allows businesses to compete in the marketplace with relative freedom. However, many laws have been enacted to regulate and restrict business practices. These key trade laws were created to preserve competition, and they also help protect consumers. Manufacturers of products for the public must become familiar with consumer protection laws. This helps them to avoid possible recalls of their products and potential lawsuits. Most trade laws are designed to protect the consumer. These laws protect against dishonest sellers, unreasonable credit terms, unsafe products, and mislabeling of products. All right, so when a company has a product recall, it is usually due to safety issues. For example, Bridgestone Corporation recalled 6.5 million of its Firestone tires in response to complaints that the tires were linked to crashes involving sports utility vehicles. All right, so knowing about these things will help prevent that. So, first thing we have are price discrimination laws. Price discrimination is the act of charging more than one price for the same product or service in different markets or to different customers. The Clayton Act of 1914 and the Robinson-Patman Act of 1936, you don't need to know those specifics, but that's the background. They're aimed at prohibiting price discrimination. Businesses must justify giving one customer a lower price than another. Fair pricing means businesses must be fair to all customers when setting prices. The Fair Packaging and Labeling Act requires that manufacturers' labels truthfully list all ingredients and raw materials used in production. Labels must include the name and place of business of the manufacturer, packer, or distributor. The Act also requires the size, weight, and contents of a product to be included on the label. Then we have the Universal Commercial Code, UCC, and this is a group of laws that regulate commercial business transactions. The UCC protects the economic interests of buyers and sellers in contracts. It also regulates sales warranties. So again, as a reminder, we've seen these words before, but let's review them. A warranty is a promise or a guarantee given to a customer that a product will meet certain standards. A business must be protected by disclaimers, a business may also be protected by disclaimers that describe exceptions or exclusions from a warranty. A common disclaimer limits a customer's recovery to a refund of the purchase price. Under the UCC, a seller may make several warranties. An express warranty is a warranty that explicitly stated in writing or verbally. It specifies the conditions under which the product can be returned, replaced, or repaired. A full warranty is a guarantee about the quality of goods or services. With a full warranty, a purchase found to be defective within the warranty period will be repaired or replaced at no cost to the purchaser. And last, we have a limited warranty, which covers only certain parts of the product or requires the customer to bear some of the expense in case repairs are needed. This makes me think of Apple and AppleCare. If you have an iPhone and you break it, or like it breaks for some reason, it stops working on you, within a certain time frame, they'll replace the phone for you. After a certain time frame, there's usually some sort of cost in order to have your phone fixed. And then if it's broken because of something you've done that goes against the warranty, such as dropping it in water or something like that, then you would have to bear the cost of replacing it. Then we have the Consumer Protection Act, which requires those who give credit to reveal all the terms and conditions of their credit agreements. This law applies to anything purchased over a period of time greater than 4 months. Finance charges must be expressed as an annual rate so that the consumer has a clear estimate of the cost of credit. Truth in lending laws are enforced by the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC. And the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission's Act, protects consumers from false and misleading advertising with truth in advertising laws. Under these laws, advertising must be truthful and non-deceptive, and advertisers must have evidence to back up their claims. So, how businesses protect consumers? The business community protects consumers by providing its information. Labels, brochure, manuals, and online details are some of the ways that businesses educate consumers about their products and services. The Better Business Bureau BBB, is a nonprofit organization that collects information on local businesses and handles complaints. It also shares information about problems that consumers have had and distributes consumer publications. It does not enforce laws or recommend one business over another. Many businesses have customer service department. I've worked in these myself. A customer service representative can answer questions or help resolve problems. Product packages often list the address, telephone number, or website to use to contact a customer service representative. This is a really tough job to have because usually when people are calling you, it's with a complaint. Advertising can be a good source of consumer information. Although businesses use ads to promote their products to get sold, they also can use them to tell a consumer as much about their products as possible. Ads tell you not only the product's cost, but also the features it offers. You can use ads to compare products and services. And then some commercial magazines are also good sources of consumer information. They include articles or guides to help make good choices. So Good Housekeeping is a magazine that features consumer information and endorses its product with a seal of approval. Specialty magazine on items such as cars and travel can also provide information on related products. So the key to this is making sure you are an informed consumer when purchasing.